When the first series you saw, the wall there, in Israel and Palestine, I put that on your server in 2005, I believe.
Yeah,
It was fresh out of the trip. And I believe it was in color, actually, at that point. But I was just fresh back from the trip and calling editors, and of course, it was the second intifada, but nothing was exploding, so no one cared. And you know, it's the what bleeds leads kind of thing. They had other stuff that they wanted to worry about and put on their pages at the time. And I still felt like the work needed to be seen. And there were other avenues of putting it out there, but after taking a look at his site and the other work that was on there, it was of pretty high quality. And the community of photographers that he'd gathered. And it just felt it was, you know, if I was going to do something with it, it ought to be important. It ought to be part of a community-based idea. And that's kind of what fed into my decision. You know, I would have loved to have been on the cover of Time magazine or something like that, but it just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't the kind of project at the right time. But I put it up there, and since then, I mean, years have gone by, and the amount of work and the quality of work there is just astounding. So it's, you know, it's nice to have my work set with that crowd. It's really nice, and you know, and if it grows, you know, it grew into a book, and who knows what's next. So it only helps you. I mean, you know, as a photographer, you're always worried about the argument. Well, you always have the argument if it ain't going to pay your bills by giving it away free. But I think it's a little more complicated than that, because photographs are made to be seen, and seen by the right people at the right times. And even though this time didn't work out monetarily, I think it's worked out tenfold in other ways. And so, you know, I do other things in my life that I can pay rent on. And if I need to contribute something in a way that ought to be done, then I won't hesitate in doing it. You know, it wouldn't be a question to me at all.
Just to back that up, I think it's kind of a sad reflection that so many of us have to have a day job to pay the bills, and what we feel is really important, like a lot of the work we've seen today, is it's spare time stuff. It's what we really want to do, but we don't necessarily have the funds to do it. And you know, this isn't recent. I mean, Salgado, when he was at Magnum, would go and do corporate work so that he could then go off for several months and do what he really wanted to do, and the corporate work would pay the bills. I mean, I'd love to be in a situation where I could do this full time and pay for everything I need to pay for, but it's just not a reality. Maybe with the digital age, that may change. Who knows? To be quite honest, I don't hold that much hope, but we'll see. I think anyone coming into this career path who has a more traditional view of photojournalism is going to get a bit of a wake-up call. But I think as soon as they appreciate what the realities are and absorb them, accept them, then they can still make a difference.
I think it's going to be very interesting in the next 10, 20 years to see individual photographers become their own content providers. So you're not going to be looking at chasing around a photo agency with 30 photographers. You're going to be, a photographer is going to be generating the kind of work that you want, so you call them. And I don't think it'll be assignment work in the sense that, you know, Morgan, I'm going to call you to go to Africa to shoot the latest tragedy. But I have a feeling that as the world becomes more connected and information is shared more freely, what happens around the world will be realized much quicker. And, you know, a lot of photographers, especially the young ones today going out of school, they walk out of school, get on a plane, and then live somewhere where there's lots of stuff happening. And that's how you make it. Because you have to be there all the time. They're not going to fly you in days after. There's no way. They don't have enough money anymore. You know, the magazines are just barely surviving as they are. But with these technologies coming out, like the iPad, and you know, once your television is connected to the iPad, connected to the internet, connected to whatever else is next, I, as a photographer, can be my own channel. I can provide content. And based off of relationships and networking through social networking, whatever, people will follow that. You know, and that's where the value is. The value is in the work. The delivery, I think, everyone's freaking out about the delivery shutting down. And I think it's probably just starting up. Because there's going to be so many different ways of doing it now. It'll just be incredible. And it's not going to stop. I mean, it's not like there's going to be a point in the world when people are going to be like, okay, that's too many pictures. It's, you know, we don't want to hear that information. There'll always be a group of people that wants to hear about this kind of stuff. You know, and then there'll always be a group of people that like that want to tell others, you know, and I think that's kind of the future of news, is you'll be able to pick and choose, not which networks you want to hear from, but which reporters you want to hear from.
But just to interject, I mean, this is a much broader conversation which should go on for a while. I'm still conscious of time.
Yeah.
I totally agree with everything you're saying. With internet delivery, you can pick and choose. Like you can set up filters, for example, right now, so that if you have LA Times being delivered to your iPhone, you tell the filters, you tell the paper what you want to read, which ignores a lot of the other stuff that you never see anymore because you're not turning the pages and glancing at something which you wouldn't otherwise normally see. Potentially, I think there are two things I think to bear in mind. One is the individual content provider. I totally agree. I think that's exactly what's happening. But what makes someone want to look at your stuff? What makes them want to see it? Now, I think you're right in terms of those individuals who have a particular interest in one specific topic. So they may go online, they may do a search, they may find this great, huge portfolio of content and be very happy looking at it. But I also think that's divisive. Because unless you have a situation where you can see more than one side to a story, or have a willingness to see more than one side to a story, then you're only going to see one side. And you're going to believe that's the truth, because that's all you see. And I think there's a danger there. So I'm not sure what to do about that.
Well, we have it in cable TV nowadays.
Right, good point.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's happening
cable
now.
news networks are all...
Exactly. This is an extension of that.
Yeah.